Hello, I am not a regular YouTube creator. So, wrote this song so as not to be a copyright violator. Mellow is what this melody is going to be at its core. So, free to use it to avoid violations anymore. La ba da dee mo do, fla ba da bee ko dee. This is the thinner now. Can you dig it? YouTube slapped me with a violation for using a song I didn't write. It was out of desperation instead of trying to learn every regulation. Feel free to use this song to alleviate all complication. YouTube violation. Sigh. If someone else claims they wrote the song and tried to copyright it later, don't try. You'll have a hard time with this verse because I mentioned the creator. And my name is Brian Bishop, and I wrote the song on April 7, 2020. You traitor. I declare this song is freedom made so anyone can use it later. And la ba da bee bo do, fla ba da bee ko dee. This is the filler now. Can you dig it? Yeah. YouTube slapped me with the violation for using a song I didn't write. It was out of desperation instead of trying to learn every regulation. Feel free to use a song to alleviate all complication. YouTube slapped me with a violation for using a song I didn't write. It was out of desperation instead of trying to learn every regulation. Feel free to use this song to alleviate all complication. YouTube violation. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I thought for our last night together that I would put the actual video of when I recorded myself.
Oh, the music video.
The music video, like it's pretty lit.
It is pretty lit. Yeah. Oh, our tech person left.
Our tech person left. Whatever.
Well, all right.
I told her she could. I said
Oh,
I'll just get back up there and do the stuff that we need to do. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
All right.
yeah. Here we are.
It's the last Chi Alpha for the 2019 2020
spring.
semester.
It's the last
For
one
the
for the
school
school
year.
year.
It's fine.
Making
It's
it more
fine.
difficult than it needs to be.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So I can't believe that we're here already. It feels like it went really fast.
It always does, but it
Yeah,
seems like every year
yeah.
it gets faster. So, 5-6 years from now, like, college students are just going to be in school for one day. It's like,
That's what it'll feel like.
diploma.
To be fair, the actual time doesn't change. It just
Just feels like,
yes.
oh, okay, well,
yes.
whatever.
All right.
Okay.
So we've got an icebreaker tonight.
Yep. It's
And it's what are your summer plans?
summer plans.
If we can make summer plans.
Yes.
So what are your summer plans, Brian?
Well, our summer plans, one of the big ones is my side of the family in Montana's planning a family reunion in the middle of June. So next month, So that's, my grandparents had 14 kids. So take that, Stonebreakers. No, they had 14 kids, and so aunts and uncles and everything else. My brother and his family here in De Pere were all traveling down there. My dad messaged me today and said that he's going to pay for our gas and our food and lodging and everything.
Wow.
Just because our, who knows what finances are going to be at that time. So that's one of the things is traveling there in June. And while we're doing that, I'm going to hit some of the churches that support us in North Dakota and Montana to do a report about how things are going in Chi Alpha and ask them to give us more money.
Wow.
I just realized now that those churches might see this and no, they won't. They'll think it's funny. We, report services. So yeah. Anyway, now I'm all. What's the word? Flustered. Hashtag frustratedly said that.
Careful. So we're gonna do that and annoy our children and hopefully get to see other people besides each other. Yeah.
Now, what are we going to do if we're home? What are some things that you want to do if we are not doing those travel plans? How about that?
Oh, that's a good idea. I want to put in a garden. I want to... You're going to be surprised. You want your summer honey-do list? Is that what you want right now?
No, I don't want that.
Okay, well, then we should talk about it. We'll talk about it later.
On my do list is play Sea of Thieves and become a legendary pirate. On there, that's on my to-do list this summer.
We'll talk about it. Okay, let me read some of these.
Yeah, what do you got?
Richard says he's going to read more books.
Read more books? What kind of books? I would like to be more specific. I want to know. Are you talking about to help you grow as a person, or are you talking about like fun books, Lord of the Rings, or a combination of both?
They're both good.
Yeah, both good.
All books are good.
Yeah, they're all good. Yeah.
Listen, I'm ticking up my
comic books.
Yeah. Okay. Jade says she's going to hang out with friends after quarantine. Good call, Jade.
Of course.
Emma says go to Perkins with Kirsten. So that's good. Quality. And work. Work's not important.
It's like summer. My plans is to go to Perkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elijah says read books, play Ultimate Frisbee, and support Raise to be a missionary with Chi Alpha.
That's right. Yeah.
Daniel says support raising and camping. So that's good. I don't like camping.
Awesome.
Isaiah says work a lot, move out, hopefully sports of some kind. Yeah. Any sports? That's wide open. Let's see. Josh says work, hang out with the fam, and hopefully friends at some point, and get a pretty steady weekly schedule. Nice.
Good for you, man.
Schedule.
Yeah, the scheduling thing. That's my guys.
Yeah. Yes. Brenna says hopefully work, hang out with friends, and most importantly, finally get out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
What are you gonna do out of the house? So, are you gonna go swimming? Are you gonna soak in, I don't know, something hot?
Just not be in our house.
Not be in our house. Okay.
Who wants to go in a hot tub?
Well, I do. Like I was right. So Josh in his house, like I got a little tour. They bought a new pool table. It's in his bedroom. But he lives in the basement too. So it's like, so he's got this new pool table. But they also have a hot tub. But I'm always pressuring him because evidently it doesn't get very hot. Like it needs to be fixed. I'm like going, hey, you don't need a pool table. You need that hot tub fix for next school year when all of us guys come back.
Okay, well, that's cute. All right, Katie says violin, and moving.
And maybe viola.
Stop, she's going to flag us as inappropriate.
Right.
Okay, we've got some hashtags going on here. Baitedly, debated, I don't know, whatever. Richard says... What kind of books to read? Hopefully both kinds of books, but self-development.
Self-development. Good for you, man. I like
I've
that.
read some good ones. If you want to know some good self-development books, hit me up.
Right.
Hey, Libby's commenting for the first time.
Libby!
Libby's going to go to school. Frowny face.
What? Summer school?
Yeah, her classes start like in a week and a half because she's applying to Bellin.
Oh,
or she's going to Bellin.
Yeah.
So they start like really soon.
Maybe.
Elijah. No, her classes actually start.
Well, yeah, but she won't get to go.
They're online.
Oh, sure, online. like
Listen,
everything
Libby,
else
we're
right now.
discussing the
I'm
future.
sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Elijah also says, I forgot to say graduate college. There's summer classes. Stephanie's going to hang out with her friends, see
Okay.
her summer camp kids, and she nannies also. So her nanny kids, she's going to travel with her family.
Oh, fun.
All sorts of fun stuff.
Okay.
Katie says, you, not viola.
Richard plays the viola, and I love you, Richard.
Whatever. So, and then Alyssa says, just working. Listen, she's keeping us running at the Home Depot.
That's right. Yeah.
Like
keeping things stocked. I appreciate that.
So
awesome.
that's our icebreaker.
There's some plans going on this summer.
Plans.
Yay! It's
like
the summer,
plans.
you guys. It's the summer. I mean, you got finals, but then it's the summer, and I know we're in this quarantine, but still, like the other day we went to what was that place?
Barkhausen Nature.
Nature. Yeah, we went out there and just walked out on the paths out there,
So
looked
good.
at birds. There was some muddy patches out there.
Lots of trees.
Lots of trees and stuff
That's
like
great.
that. It was just, I'm like, it was nice. So go out, and do something.
Do something.
Do something.
Leave your house.
Leave your house. Yeah.
It's good.
So
it's good. All right. Well, should we move on to announcements?
Announcements.
And we don't really have any new ones. They're just the same. Again, classes are almost done, so don't forget that you can sell your old books. Donate books, feedkids.com, to help Feed One, the amazing organization that helps feed kids in impoverished situations all over the world. So get on there, check the ISBN, send those books off, and feed some kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. What else we got? Oh, just, I'm not going to go through the whole thing on Microsoft Teams tonight. If you haven't gotten it by now, I can't help you. But I will say this. For your friends, or if there's somebody new here tonight and you would like to join us, if you just go to our website, newxa.org, you'll find a link on there that says Microsoft Teams Large Group After Party. You can click on that and sign in. And tonight at our after party, we're really just going to be praying for and blessing our graduates and those that have served on the student discipleship team and that are going to serve in the future. And we'll talk about that more tonight, kind of thing. Yeah. So those are our announcements, guys. So now we're going to be going into our Chi Alpha.
Let's get into it.
Legacy night. Yeah.
All right, you guys, it's Legacy night. We do one of these every semester. If we were in person, we would have some baptisms to do, and we'd, really spend some time just connecting with one another and doing that kind of stuff. But even though we're not together, it's still Legacy night, and it's still the night that we like to take every year to really think about what is legacy, and then to celebrate the legacy that is being left behind. So I'm a huge fan of the dictionary. I mean, who isn't, right? So I like to know what words mean. So this is the definition of legacy. So a legacy, there's two definitions. One is a gift by will, especially of money or other personal property. So like if you're bequesting something, it's your legacy that you're leaving behind. So tonight, as we think about our graduates and their legacy, this one probably isn't a definition that will fit. I don't know if they're going to leave you any physical or monetary goods. I don't know. You could leave someone maybe your rice cooker or a loft, maybe a stash of ramen that you had left over from spinning the wheel. I don't know. Something like that. You could leave that, but that's not really a good legacy, right? But the second definition of legacy is this. It's something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or a predecessor or from the past. And that's really the definition we're looking at today. And the legacy of faith has been passed down for hundreds of generations, right? One generation teaching and training and sharing their faith with another generation. And the word we use most commonly for this in Chi Alpha is discipleship, right? We're a group of disciples who make disciples. This process of discipleship and passing on our faith is our DNA. It's what we do. But another appropriate word for this transmission of faith is legacy. What kind of legacy are we leaving behind? And in just a few moments, you're going to have the chance to hear from your spiritual ancestors. Now, maybe that makes them feel really old. But the truth of it is that in the family of God, those who have gone before us, those who have poured into us, are like our spiritual ancestors. And sometimes they're many years older than us, and sometimes they're just a few, or sometimes they're even our peers. But they are people who have lived life and learned lessons, and they've taken the time to be our friend, to be our mentor, to be someone who disciples us, who pours into us, who has an influence on us, and they are leaving a legacy in our lives. And that's what our graduating seniors have done. So every semester, we ask those that are graduating to take a few minutes to share with us. And again, if you were with us right before spring break, we did have an opportunity for Brett to share with us on that night because we didn't know this is what we were doing. But there are some other people from our group that are graduating or that have already graduated from school but are graduating in life and are moving on from us. So they're going to each take a few minutes and share with you. And I would really encourage you to listen closely because this is their legacy to you. And I know that you have been receiving from them on a regular basis all school year. I know that they have poured into your life. I know that they have made an impact on you. But we've asked each of them to sum it up in their last words to Chi Alpha, if you will. So these are things that they're going to share that maybe they wish they would have known as a student in your position when they weren't quite as old as they are now. And also what they really want to leave you with as their time or their position in Chi Alpha changes or comes to an end. So we have 4 people that we are celebrating tonight, and as each of them shares, I would really encourage you, if they've made a difference in your life, if they are leaving a legacy with you as they're sharing, would you just give them some shout outs in the comments to let them know in real time the impact that they've made in your life? And so without any further ado, let's hear from our seniors.
Well, as we jump into these, the first one that we're talking about is Isaiah. And so in just a minute, you're going to see a video from every single one of these graduates. But I just first want to just say a few things about Isaiah myself. I remember Isaiah, from when he first started coming into the ministry, that he was kind of the guy that he didn't really stand out. He was the one that was like a wallflower sometimes, where he didn't want to stand up, but when he did, he really shined. Like, people loved it when he was engaging and everything else. And then we invited him into leadership, and it was a big step for him because of just his nature and his character. But he did it. He stepped into it, and he decided to serve. And man, just throughout this year, seeing him pour himself into other guys and the things that we would talk about in our one-on-ones that he's getting into, Isaiah was really just had an amazing gift of prophecy. Like, he would always get these great visions from the Lord that just really blessed me when I would hear them. They were so affirming, and man, just an amazing man of God. So with that, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at what Isaiah wants to share with you guys tonight.
Hi, my name is Isaiah Stonebaker, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about what Chi Alpha has done to me. And so the biggest part of that, I guess, has just been when I stepped into leadership. Because the things I learned stepping into leadership and receiving training to be able to lead and do all those things, and then the experience of actually getting out there and leading, are just things that you don't get on a normal basis when you're just going to college and you maybe do a couple presentations here and there, but it really is a different experience to take something that you're not even going to school for and putting so much time and energy into it, into growing in this way of being able to reach people And I feel like if I could just name one thing, like that's what Chi Alpha has done for me. One of like 100 things, and it really is just amazing. Like I'm just kind of floored at where I'm at now from a year ago. Chi Alpha has been a big part of that. It really has been, because it gave me the resources I needed to step up into leadership from where I was at before, which was not talking to anybody, not getting involved in anything in college. And here I am a year later, and maybe I'm not exactly where I would love to be. You know, I'm not perfect, obviously. You know, I never got there. But just looking back, I've come so far, and it's just been amazing to see. And when I first was looking at being in leadership, it was weird. Like I didn't even really want to do it, and I just really felt God calling me to accept it, to step into leadership. And so I got to the point where I was like, okay, God, like I'll do this, but you're gonna have to be with me through it all, because I can't do this. Like I am terrible with people. I can't even approach people. Like we did something on a mug the first year. This is while I was still at NUTC. And I talked to nobody. And when I say nobody, I mean nobody. Okay? And then we had it this last year, and I talked to a couple people. Okay? And that was a huge difference to me. Like, I know it might not sound all that spectacular or anything, but it's been amazing to watch where I've come from in just one short year, because when you step out into what God has planned for you, what He's calling you to do, that's where you learn, that's where you grow. And sometimes you're called through hard things, you're called to do things that you don't want to do, things that just are very taxing, and it's kind of mentally draining. But then you get to the end of it, and you look back at who you were before and who you are now, and you just realize that God shaped me into a better person than I was before, a more capable person, capable of preaching the gospel to others and leading small groups and leading discussions, and even just like orchestrating icebreakers and getting attention of a room full of like 20 people, whereas before basically no experience doing any of that. And not that I have a lot now, but Chi Alpha was like the perfect controlled environment to teach me things, and then I could mess up, and there were people right there to help me. Because if you wait to have all the experience and all the academic knowledge of leadership, you're never going to have it. You're never going to step out into leadership, and so you're never going to be able to do it. And it takes putting on those training wheels, getting out there, and letting other people help you step into that. So that way, when you leave college, you can reach others with the gospel. You can reach others with life and hope. And I feel like that's what Chi Alpha has equipped me to do. And I feel like God has directed me through Chi Alpha. And now I'm almost out of college. Not quite. I was about to say out of college, but 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And so that's like my story in Chi Alpha. I mean, there's a million things I could mention, but being able to lead others, to have the confidence to be able to do it, to just approach people and say, hey, what's up? Because that's something I didn't have before. And now I just feel like I'm in a place where I can do these things. Like I can reach out to others in ways that I couldn't have before. And Chi Alpha has just been a blessing to me in that way, and given me the capability to do all this. And so I'll always be grateful for that. And I'm so thankful that I could be part of the community that is Chi Alpha.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Isaiah. Really appreciate that, man. Awesome word, man.
What a guy.
Training wheels. Have the training wheels on, but allow people to help you. It reminds me of, when we were teaching our kids how to ride bikes, and you had to run alongside them, and they would fall and everything else, but we helped them get back up and stuff. So awesome word, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And we are so proud of you, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Like, you're just a fantastic human.
Yeah.
What a gift to know you. So,
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Katie Tan.
Mm-hmm.
We first met Katie. I told this story in core group last night, but we met Katie when she was on her first date with her now husband.
That's
Josh.
right. Yeah.
Yep. She came to our house for movie night. And if you want to know more about it, you'll have to ask her about it sometime, because it's not worth going into here.
Right.
But that's when we first met Katie, and Katie had just barely become a Christian. She had just accepted Christ. And so we have had the honor and privilege of walking with Katie for that entire season of her life, from being a brand new baby believer until this point where she was volunteering on staff with us and leading other people.
Yeah.
And what a joy it has been to walk with Katie during that time. She has grown so much. And you guys, Katie, like as she was first learning about faith, and even now, she asks the best questions and she just wants to know. And she has such a hunger to know the things of God. And the deepest desires of her heart are to please Him.
Yeah.
And to see her walk in that from the very beginning and then continue to grow in that and to never be afraid. Well, maybe she was afraid, but it didn't hold her back from seeking more of the Lord and from wanting to grow and from just being in community and doing these things. And Katie stepped outside of herself and talked to people and led people and did these things that were not comfortable for her, but she did it. And then watching her this year, she volunteered on staff with us. Growing into a leader has been incredible, and watching the way that she's led the women of this group has been phenomenal. Having her take over hospitality has saved my life. And just watching her do this stuff has been awesome. We are fully and excitedly releasing her to what the Lord has planned for her, but we're also really sad. Because she is not just a great student and a great staff member, but she's a great friend. And Katie, we love you, and we're excited for what the Lord has for you.
All right, well, let's take a listen to what Katie has to share with you guys.
Hi everybody, it's Katie here. So many of you know me from being on staff the past year at Chi Alpha at UWGB, and I just wanted to share a little bit of how I got started with Chi Alpha. So I feel like I got introduced to Angie and Brian like 3 years ago around Easter, and it was actually me and my husband's first date, and I didn't realize this at the time, but we ended up going to Angie and Brian's house to watch Passion of the Christ, and I was going under the impression that I was going to see a movie with my boyfriend and some of his friends. So needless to say, I was pretty surprised when I ended up going into a van with Brian and a couple of other people I didn't really know. So that's kind of the beginning of my journey. But jokes aside, I had literally just become a Christian, like maybe a few months before I met them and before I got involved in Chi Alpha. And I have to say that it has been one of the most meaningful experiences of my life, because I feel like what they did for me was kind of nurture me and encourage me to not just like be a part of what they do, but to pursue and really fight for a relationship with God, and that's what's important. And I feel like through one-on-ones and just group meetings, I feel like I really learned how to learn about God by reading the Bible and other ways of like worshiping, which can be singing, going on walks, praying, being in nature. And so I feel like being able to explore faith, like my own personal faith, I feel like they've really prepared me to be able to tackle the world with knowing that God is on my side. And I don't know, I feel like before I leave for grad school in the fall, I think if I were to leave some advice behind for underclassmen or people who are just starting to step into Chi Alpha, I think my advice is just to not be afraid of what will happen if you decide to stick around. Because I feel like I was like more shy at first, but guys, it's okay to be nervous. But I think the one thing you shouldn't let hold you back in your relationship with Jesus is fear. So, like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to get closer. Don't be afraid to push the buttons. And I'm just going to say it again, don't be afraid to ask questions. Because Angie and Brian are definitely there for you, and so are the other people in Chi Alpha. And so, like I said, for the 80th time, don't let fear hold you back, and just pursue God with everything, and I think you'll find that being with them is definitely worthwhile.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Katie's
Awesome
the
stuff.
best.
Awesome stuff. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Kate. We really loved having you with us, and sad to let you go, but it's going to be awesome for you where you're going. Man, let's move into another Stonebreaker, Daniel. Daniel, our NWTC graduate. I'm so excited about Daniel. You know, I only got to start hanging out with him, was it last year or was it this year? I'm so spaced out on my times, but I think just this year. If I'm wrong, Daniel, correct me on that. But first time I sat down with him, I'm like, this is a man of God. Like, the wisdom beyond his years, and just his knowledge of the word and his desire to share it. That I was like, why is this guy not a student leader? Like, we missed that one. But I am super excited just because Daniel is answering the call to go into ministry himself, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later on and stuff. But the thing that I just really see in Daniel is that he's got that real hunger and thirst to serve God. That it was very easy to get with Daniel and just talk about the things that are going on in his life, and to help him navigate some of those waters has been such a tremendous privilege for me. And so I'm super thankful for him. So we're going to go ahead and let Daniel just kind of share what the Lord's done in his life, and give you guys some sound advice to pass on the legacy. So let's take a listen to what Daniel has to share.
Hey everybody, it's Daniel. So kind of my story, how I got involved in Chi Alpha. I started going to Northeast Wisconsin Tech College. It's on the west side of Green Bay. And my brother had been going to UWGB. He was involved in Chi Alpha for a little bit, and he invited me out to come see him give his testimony, give his message that he was giving that night. And I said I'd come. He'd been kind of pestering me about it for a little bit, and finally I was like, all right, I'll come. And I thought, maybe it'd be good for me to get involved in a Christian college ministry, have some more Christian fellowship, have a group of people that I can really be encouraged by, and who are kind of the same mindset as me, as far as my faith. And so I went and met some of the people there. It seemed really like a really great group of people. I really liked what was there, and so I decided to commit to it. And I started going to core group, started going to large group, and I really just started to lean into it. And I can say it has completely changed my life. To the point where now I'm giving up my old plans of going into law enforcement, and I'm doing the Chi Alpha CMIT program, so I'll be doing this Chi Alpha thing full time now. So for me, it's just been absolutely life-changing, just completely changed everything around. It's been amazing, the growth that I have been able to experience, the mentorship, the encouragement that I've been able to receive through Chi Alpha, and the people in Chi Alpha. It's just been so encouraging, and it's encouraged me to grow. It's helped me to just really lean into God, and it's been completely life-changing for me. And I am so incredibly thankful to Chi Alpha, for Brian and Angie for saying yes to answering the call to lead this whole thing, and also just super thankful to all of you guys and everybody out there who has made Chi Alpha what it is. And I just really want to encourage you guys to really lean into this. When it comes down to it, you get out what you put into it, and if I kind of want to challenge you guys, like, go to core groups, go to large groups, go to fall retreat, go to SALT, go to everything. And really, even if you don't quite feel like it, because I promise you, if you really commit to this, really lean into it, give it your all to serve God through Chi Alpha, you will not regret it. Never in a million years will you ever regret it. It will be life-changing, as it has been for me and many other people. So I just really want to encourage you in that. And, this has just been such a great ministry, such a great blessing for me. And I just want to encourage you guys that, we're the next generation. We're going to be the ones coming up. And if we want to see some change in our world, it's up to us. The world starts with you and I and the people around us. That's how we do it. And so let's lean into God, lean into following him, especially, right now through Chi Alpha. And really, that's just a great opportunity to do it and to get this done. And I really do think that we'll see big changes around us when we say yes to God and when we answer the call and when we believe not in our own power but in his power through us that he has called us to live out. We can see the world change. It's never too late. It's never a lost cause. It is something that is up to us. And I really want to encourage you guys to just lean into this. Give it your all. Let's change the world together.
Man, awesome stuff.
I want to join Chi Alpha and change
Yeah,
the world.
right. Let's do it.
That's
Let's do
awesome.
it. No, man, it's so cool. And you guys, I'm excited for Daniel. Just that he, he just graduated. He was studying to be a police officer. Things were lining up for him, but the Lord put a call on his heart, and he's going to do the CMIT program through Chi Alpha, which is Campus Missionary in Training. He's going to go down to Arkansas Tech, where Angie and I, we went and visited there during the school. If you guys remember, we left. No, he's going to Arkansas Tech. We were at UCA. Yeah. Right. I gotta go backwards, but he's going into Arkansas nonetheless to be working under that same program basically, and we're excited about that he's going to serve a year there, and we're praying and believing he's going to come back and be on staff with us. It's just going to be amazing, and we're just excited what God's doing in his life.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think we've got one more Stonebreaker.
One more.
They've got some younger brothers, some siblings in the house that are coming up. I'm like, man, I can't wait for them all to go to UWGB, man. We can get the whhole family. Maybe your parents might want to think about taking some classes again.
Stop. Just talk about Elijah.
I'm sorry. I love Elijah. I'm so thankful because his pastor, Chris, has reached out to me and said, hey, I have this young guy that's going to your campus and would love to connect you guys. And so he forwarded Elijah's information to me, and I reached out to him right away. I got with Elijah, and you guys have heard his story, just what God has been doing in his life and what he's done already, and to see who he was when that first meeting to where he is now is just a miracle. It's just a miracle to see this young man that was not sure of himself, didn't know where he was going, what his plans were, and then God just really got a hold of him, and to become the president of our Chi Alpha group. He's done an amazing job in that role. It's just some new strides in helping us just become more effective on campus. His desire to reach people, ministering the gospel to his guys, just an amazing prayer warrior and friend. And I am just super excited that we're not losing him. He's just coming on staff. It's just a title change, man. We get to be co-laborers together. And I'm so excited about that, man. So, hey, let's go ahead and just take a listen to what Elijah would like to share with you guys tonight. So here we go.
Hey Chi Alpha, what's up? I was asked to put this video together because I guess I'm graduating. We'll see if I fail any classes, but I'm on my way. Hopefully things go well. I just want to share a little bit about what Chi Alpha has meant to me and what kind of the impact it's made on my life. And I really can't share that without sharing one of the very first things that ever happened to me while I was in Chi Alpha. It was the first night at Salt, which is really where I got plugged in. I'd kind of been like dipping my toes into the water, and it kind of, I think, gone to a couple large groups, maybe been to one core group. This would have been 3 years ago. But I was at first night at Salt, kind of just with all these random people. I had driven down with Brian and Bam Shack, and that was a crazy, crazy drive down. They're both characters. both loud, rambunctious people, love them to death, and I just did not know them at all. And so I was like, who are these people? Like, what did I get myself into? Why did I pay to go to this thing? When it was first night at Salt, during worship, Angie kind of came up to me and said that God had given her a word and that she wanted to share it with me. And Angie was someone I'd probably had one like 2-minute conversation with. I didn't really know her at all at the time. If you don't know her right now, you're missing out. She's great. Anyways, so she comes up to me, and I was floored by what she said. She told me that she had kind of seen this picture in her head that God had given her of my heart, and that it was bruised and burned and cut, and I was trying to fix it, and I was trying to like make everything better, and that was who I was. And God was saying, no, like stop that. Stop like trying to fix it, because you can't. I've given you a new heart that's perfect and clean and whole. And that completely floored me. I'd gone through a lot of things. This would have been in 2018. Was taking a lot of emotional and just a lot of tragedy, a lot of baggage into school, into my work, into my relationships, and I didn't really know how to deal with any of that stuff. And Salt right there, at the beginning of January was really the first time that I felt God move really strong in my life in a long, long time. And that led me kind of on this path to where I am today, stepping into student leadership for the past 2 years, and now actually stepping into coming on staff here at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. And so if I can give any inspiration or word of advice to any of you young freshmen, you youngins, I would just say, hey, like, you never know where God's going to take you, but let him take you where he's going, because where he's got you, where he's taking you is better than anywhere that you can imagine. And I could never have imagined where I would end up today. I never would have imagined I'd be here recording this video saying I'm going to be a full-time campus missionary in the fall, studying support raising. Never could have imagined it. And so if you're looking at your life, or you're looking at me and you're like, wow, like that's really cool, but I could never do that. Plaid, green and purple pajamas. I don't dress out normally, and I certainly don't dress out when I don't need to on this video call. So I hope you guys are surviving and even thriving today. God bless you all. Hey Chi Alpha, what's up? I was asked to put this video together because I guess I'm graduating. We'll see if I fail any classes, but I'm on my way. Hopefully things go well. I just want to share a little bit about what Chi Alpha has meant to me and what kind of the impact it's made on my life. And I really can't share that without sharing one of the very first things that ever happened to me while I was in Chi Alpha. It was the first night at Salt, which is really where I got plugged in. I'd kind of been like dipping my toes into the water, and it kind of, I think, gone to a couple large groups, maybe been to one core group. This would have been 3 years ago. But I was at first night at Salt, kind of just with all these random people. I had driven down with Brian and Bam Shack, and that was a crazy, crazy drive down. They're both characters, both loud, rambunctious people, love them to death, and I just did not know them at all. And so I was like, who are these people? Like, what did I get myself into? Why did I pay to go to this thing? When it was first night at Salt, during worship, Angie kind of came up to me and said that God had given her a word and that she wanted to share it with me. And Angie was someone I'd probably had one like 2-minute conversation with. I didn't really know her at all at the time. If you don't know her right now, you're missing out. She's great. Anyways, so she comes up to me, and I was floored by what she said. She told me that she had kind of seen this picture in her head that God had given her of my heart, and that it was bruised and burned and cut, and I was trying to fix it, and I was trying to like make everything better, and that was who I was. And God was saying, no, like stop that, stop like trying to fix it, because you can't. I've given you a new heart that's perfect and clean and whole. And that completely floored me. I'd gone through a lot of things. This would have been in 2018. Was taking a lot of emotional and just a lot of tragedy. The first time that I felt God move really strong in my life in a long time. That led me kind of on this path to where I am today, stepping into student leadership for the past 2 years, and now actually stepping into coming on staff here at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. And so if I can give any inspiration or word of advice to any of you young freshmen, you youngins, I would just say, hey, like, you never know where God's going to take you, but let him take you where he's going, because where he's got you, where he's taking you is better than anywhere that you can imagine. And I could never have imagined where I would end up today. I never would have imagined I'd be here recording this video saying I'm going to be a full-time campus missionary in the fall, studying support raising. Never could have imagined it. And so if you're looking at your life, or you're looking at me and you're like, wow, like that's really cool, but I could never do that, I would have said the same thing looking at myself 3 years ago. And so I really want to encourage you, like, have faith in God, have faith that he's a big God, have faith that he's a loving God, have faith in the character, the justice, the holiness of who he is. Even if you don't have faith in yourself, that's okay, because he's going to create new confidence in you that comes from being made in his image, and from knowing that your worth comes from Jesus dying for you, and not from anything that you do or anything that you've done, but only in who he is. And so I really want to encourage you guys in that. It's a really powerful message. I know a lot of you are stuck in quarantine. You're probably wearing pajama bottoms right now. I am actually right now wearing my if you can see here, my like plaid green and purple pajamas. I don't dress up normally, and I certainly don't dress up when I don't need to on this video call. So I hope you guys are surviving and even thriving today. God bless you all.
Man, awesome stuff. I just, I was, for a minute there, I forgot that I was muted too, but, I wanted to say, hey, we had to start that, his over again. We wanted to hear because we could still hear what he was saying because it was on our PowerPoint. I'm like, this is good stuff. And then I saw the wheels spinning in YouTube. I'm like, oh no. And then I saw our internet was down. I'm like, oh no. So I want to be sure you guys had a chance to hear what Elijah had to share. Just profound things. And we're so excited about you coming on staff, man. Absolutely. So, hey, I want to, you guys, most of you got to see this when we did it with Brett, but it's just a kind of reminder of one of the things that we do with all of our graduating seniors is we give this, and you can see it there, this Christmas ornament as a gift, and that's the gift that you'll be receiving from us. And let me just tell you a little bit about why we do this. Angie and I, we've been married for several years now. And every year when you have a family Christmas tree, when you get your own tree one day, you will start decorating that tree with things from your life, from your history. We have a box set from when we got married. It's got our anniversary on there and everything. And so when we put those on, we remember that beautiful gift that we got when we were married. We have, I talked last week about our trip to Canada and how awesome it was for a honeymoon, but we've got a Christmas ornament from the Hotel Empress that we stayed at to remember, wow, that's where we stayed on our honeymoon. Then you start adding ones like when you have kids, you get like their footprints, you get their art that they start doing throughout the years. You get the this year, all these different things that you start adding. And you remember and you reflect on those things. And in the same way, when you graduate from college, you may not be a student any longer, but you're still a part of this family. Chi Alpha is not a frat, it's a family. And you guys are a part of our family, always will be. And so whenever you are decorating your tree, when you are putting up your family tree one day and you have kids even that you're raising and you pull out this ornament, when you pull it out and you put it on the tree and they ask, well, what's this one for? that you'll be able to retell them about this time of your life where God really did something in you, that he really got a hold of you, that he really spoke into your life. And it can be a way for you to share with your family about who God is and what he's done. And so that's our gift to you guys. I really wish we could be giving it to you in person. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll drive out to your house and I'll put it down on your pavement, and then I'll take 6 steps back, and then you can take 6 steps forward. You could do, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's our gift to you guys. And so with that, I'm going to have Angie come up again, and she's just going to kind of wrap up with a couple of things about your legacy. Everyone else that's still going to be in the group. So I'm going to turn it over to her. So Angie, go ahead.
So the question for everybody else is, what will your legacy be? When your time at UW Green Bay or NWTC or wherever it is you're going, when your time is done, how will your legacy live on? Are you going to be able to say that you helped people draw closer to Jesus? Or did you help people draw farther away from him? And you may be thinking, I've just finished my first year. Like, I've got lots of time to figure this out, to figure out this legacy kind of stuff. But the principle that's true is that the things you do today impact your legacy 3 years from now or 4 years from now or however long it takes you to get through school, right? The things you do today lay the foundation for the legacy that you'll leave behind. And so you know that we live by the list at Chi Alpha. So that's our question for you. Are you loving God today? Are you loving other people today? Are you inviting others to live life with you? Are you serving them? Are you doing things that are going to transform your home and your campus and the world? How are you laying a foundation today? This is your legacy, and you don't have to wait until you're a senior to start doing these things. In fact, if you wait until you're a senior, you've waited too long. So please don't wait to start those things. Start today. And so many of you, we've said this more than once, but we have watched you grow since September, and you have grown so much, and it's just been, like, that's my favorite part of being a Chi Alpha missionary, is watching people grow in their faith and watching them grow in community. And you guys have already been doing it, so keep up the good work. You know, we're going into summer, and that is a really crazy time for people's faith walk. Routines change, schedules change. Now, it's a little bit different because our routines and schedules have already changed, right? But it's hard to grow when you're not meeting regularly with Chi Alpha. It's hard to grow when you're not with your friends. So we want to encourage you this summer, don't let your connection to this community die. Don't let that happen. Continue to connect with each other. You know, official core groups are coming to an end, but that doesn't mean that you can't be in contact with each other. We as a large group are going to do a few things over the summer, so join us for those. And if they're going to be online, meet us online. And if we can, we're going to do them in person, and we would love to see your faces there too. But even more importantly than staying connected with us, stay connected with Jesus. We've taught you how to do soap journal. We've taught you how to make a calendar and set aside time for Jesus. Use those tools. Lead yourself in your faith this summer, and find a local church to connect to. I mean, right now, for crying out loud, you could go to like 17 churches if you wanted to, right? You just sit in front of your screen and go to them all. But find a church that you really connect to, one that really feeds you spiritually, and attend it. And then when we can start going to church in person, find a church in your area and go to it. Be a part of a faith community this summer. And if you need help, if you don't know of a good church in your area, shoot us a message. We will let you know churches around you that will love you and take care of you and feed you until you can come back to us in the fall. Because one of two things is going to happen. Either over the summer, your faith is going to stagnate and it's going to decrease. And then when you get back to the fall, you're going to have to spend time like re-engaging your faith. Or your faith is going to grow over the summer and you're going to come back to campus ready to go, ready to live by the list, ready to change the lives of students, ready to go out and make a difference on your campus, ready to leave a legacy in other people's lives, even in September. So right now you get to answer the question, which person do you want to be? Do you want to have to reignite in September, or do you want to be ready to go? We are going to be praying for you guys that you are ready to go. The very last thing that we're going to do tonight is give honor where honor is due. And so that is to your fellow students who have been leading core groups this year. These students have poured into you through your core groups. They have sacrificed of themselves. So we want to say thank you, and we give honor to you, to Elijah and Isaiah and Libby. They're the students that we've had this year that have stepped out in faith and literally given their blood, sweat, and tears to disciple you and to encourage you. So if you would just give them a shout out in the comments, if you have received any encouragement from them, any love from them, any hope, any joy, if you've laughed with them, if they've encouraged you in your life at all, would you just give them a shout out for the amazing people that they've been in your life? And like Brian had mentioned earlier, when we go into our after party, we're going to be praying for them, praying a prayer of blessing and sending them out. As you saw, Elijah and Isaiah are both graduating, and we are lucky enough to have Elijah coming back as a staff person, and so that's great. But Libby is also stepping down from leadership as she's going into nursing school, and that's just going to be hardcore. So we want to bless them for what they've given. And the other group of people that we want to celebrate tonight and recognize is the students who have accepted the call and the invitation to be core group leaders next year. And so this is Alyssa and Elise and Josh and Richard. And these students are committing to leave a legacy in your life. They are committing ahead of time to give their blood, sweat, and tears to encourage you and disciple you and help you and others as they go out. But be ready to come back in the fall and help them reach the campus. And let's make the name of Jesus famous, and let's help the kingdom of God to spread across UW Green Bay. So, Brian, you want to come up? And
I do. Yeah. So
we'll give our last words here. So, we love you guys. We do. And we miss you terribly. Like, our lives are just not as good without you in them.
No.
They just aren't. So
when a ministry, and as you guys have experienced, whenever I'm talking to somebody and I ask them what does Chi Alpha mean to them, and one of the first things is community. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't get to have that, that's a huge part of what we are missing. And I want you to remember what this feels like. 2-3 years from now, when we're over this, I want you to remember what it's like to not have community, so that it gives you desire to invite others into it. Because there are people on campus, even when this wasn't happening, that were living in isolation, that were not being welcomed into any kind of community. Let's be the people of God that invite people into this fellowship. Whether you believe in God or not, you are welcome into this ministry. We will love you. You'll be a part of our family. So I want you to remember that, guys. But we do. We love you guys. And like Angie said, we're going to try to do stuff this summer. Like,
We are.
we really want to have some people over in the
We
name
miss
of
you.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like we.
So yeah, let's not say 2 or 3 years, but let's say
No,
2
no,
or
no,
3
oh,
months.
no.
You
I'm
said
just.
years.
Well, I was talking about 2-3 years down the road when
Oh.
this season. I should clarify. I'm sorry if that's what you got for 2-3 years from now. We're finally back on campus. No.
No.
I'm saying
Months.
when this season is so far behind us, I don't want you to forget
Yeah.
what this was like
Yep.
2 years from now. Like, yes,
Yes.
we will be back on campus in the fall in the name of Jesus, right?
Yeah.
But I'm
so-
saying, remember, always
Yes.
remember this, and
Yeah.
invite
Right.
people to live life with you, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
you
I
did
think
tell me.
it's on. I just want to make sure you get it. You
I
got
get
it?
it. I got it.
Awesome. So
Listen.
so we're gonna go
Well,
get off of here.
Yeah. So
Um,
we miss you.
yeah.
We're gonna continue to miss you over the summer. We're gonna see you as soon as we can see you. Don't be strangers. Reach out to each other. Reach out to us. Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Live by the list.
That's right. So we're gonna do a quick prayer just to end this, but we're gonna go online and then we're gonna pray. And when we're on there, I want you guys to pray over them too. So we'll give
Mhm.
direction on there and everything else like
Yeah.
that as you feel led. Invite your friends to come on to that after party. Send them a message in Messenger. Say, come hang out with us and pray with us and everything else. But we're gonna do a
Yeah.
quick prayer, and then we're gonna go into that after party in just a couple minutes.
All right. That's
Lord Jesus, we just bless these students. Lord, first, just because of this time that we are in, Lord, we surrender ourselves to you.
Mhm.
Lord, over the past several weeks, we have preached about how to know you and follow you and be your representatives in this crisis that we're in this pandemic, Lord. Lord, I pray that these students don't forget these things that they've heard. Lord, that they would be witnesses to their families and to their friends, that loved ones would come to know you through this time. Lord, your church grows under persecution and under trials and tribulation. Lord, may it grow. May it grow, Lord Jesus. Lord, bless our students. Keep them safe, Lord. Provide the finances they need for their homes and the food. Lord, I'm just reminded of your word that it says that if we seek first your kingdom and your righteousness, all these things will be added unto us. And the things that are added are the things that we need, Lord. And I know that you will provide as we seek you. So Lord, go with them, bless them. May they live by the list, by loving, inviting, serving, and transforming this world. We thank you and we praise you. In the precious name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Awesome.
All right.
All right, guys, we love
See
you.
you on the after
We'll see you in
party.
the after party.